We tend to talk about people having potential as if that is something to be achieved in the future. But I like to look at potential as something that lies within us. So if we think about a seed, for example, a seed looks dry and dead when it's dormant. But actually, if we know what plant that seed belongs to, we know that if we plant the seed, it's going to grow into a certain type of plant. It could be a vegetable, it could be a flower, it could be a bush. The potential is there already. It's not something that needs to be worked for. It's not something that needs to be trained for. It just is. And we all accept that certain seeds grow into certain types of plant, and a different seed is never going to grow into that same plant. So I like to look at people in the same way. And we're not really used to seeing people in this way because we in society, we value education, we value training, we value qualifications. So we tend to measure people or see people's strengths as being education or qualifications or maybe past experience. But I feel like we're missing a trick here, because actually if we didn't have all those structures, people would be freer to just pursue their own interests and develop their own skills and their own talents. Obviously, we do often need qualifications and education in order to get certain jobs, but there are a lot of people these days who are making a career for themselves by other means, for example, by social media, by starting a business, just finding a way to make money, could be investing, which doesn't fit the usual career path model. Now, of course, there are a lot of pressures in order to conform. So, for example, you may get pressure from family to follow a certain career path or to get a certain level of education. It could be that they have your best interests at heart, or it could be that family members are possibly a bit selfish and want you to get certain qualifications to make them look good. But either way, if you choose to get qualifications and follow a path of education, and that's what you want to do, that's absolutely fine. But if you feel like your skills and talents lie in a different area, or maybe the career that you have doesn't enable you to express yourself authentically, then maybe it's time to look at your potential and think about what that might be. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change career path. It's maybe just about reframing how you are at work and what you focus on, rather than just being told what to focus on and going through the motions. There is an element of fear of failure here, so it can feel a lot safer to follow a well-trodden path rather than go and do things in our own way, especially when we're getting criticism or we're not being encouraged by those around us to follow our own path. The temptation is just to play safe and stay in a more predictable environment or a more predictable plan for the future. Also, past experience can be a bit of a blocker. So if we've had past experiences where maybe we've been on the breadline, we've not really had enough money to pay bills, but now we have enough money, but we're reliant on a job. Obviously, there's going to be fear around quitting a job, for example. I mean, it doesn't have to be that radical. If you wanted to start a business, you could do that alongside what you do currently. And emotional flashbacks too. So it could be, for example, if you were brought up and told that you talk too much or you're too arrogant, it could be that when you notice yourself displaying those kind of behaviors that were criticized, that you have an emotional flashback, which would be a reaction which really belongs in the past, not in the present. So, for example, you might have a physical reaction like blushing, or you might have an emotional reaction like having a panic attack. So it's important to notice when these things happen and realize that they're not actually related to how we're acting now, but they're like literally a flashback from something that has happened in the past. And when we have that realization, we can start to work through it and power through, knowing that that was a criticism that we don't accept and we want to overcome. Ideally, when working on our potential, we'd have people around us who believe in us and see the possibilities ahead. And it's not an easy task to find people who are supportive. Everybody's busy, everybody has their own interests in mind. maybe consider going to a coach or some kind of therapist, a counsellor maybe, who can help you with your plans. Obviously, it's going to cost money and it can be quite expensive. But if you have friends around you or people that you're working with, maybe on a business plan or some plan for the future, hopefully they're going to be encouraging people and people that see things in a positive light and see the possibilities, rather than people who just see problems or roadblocks and hold you back from what you want to do. When we have people around us who talk to us and see our potential, it literally enables us to develop that within ourselves. So if we're having positive things reflected back to us by somebody else and we can accept that, we can start to build that up ourselves and see our potential and work towards it. So it's really, really valuable to have somebody in your life who can see what you can achieve and can encourage you to work towards it. So I just want to encourage you today to think about your potential. Potential is your power. If you think about the word potent or potency, it literally, it means power. And it is the power within us to work towards something and to achieve something in the same way that a seed can be planted and grow into a beautiful plant. So have a think about what your potential might be and what might be holding you back. And subscribe to my videos. I talk about these things a lot. I'm excited about it and it interests me what it is that is holding us back from achieving our potential and becoming true to ourselves.